All right, welcome. Today we're going to crack open the body's own repair kit. We're talking about the medications we all use for our muscles, our bones, and our joints. From just a simple sprain all the way to a chronic condition, we're going to find out what's really going on inside that pill bottle. I mean, we've all been there, right? You pull a muscle at the gym or you get that twinge in your back and you reach for a painkiller. But have you ever stopped to think, what's really going on inside your body when you do that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
So first things first, let's take a quick look at your body's amazing framework. Think of it as the literal scaffolding that holds you up and lets you move around, and it's all made up of a few key players. Okay, so let's break it down. Think of your body like a really sophisticated machine. Your bones? That's the hard ream. The skeletal muscles? Well, those are the engines that power every single move you make. And then you have all the bits holding it together. Tendons act like pulleys, connecting your muscles to your bones, while ligaments are like these tough connectors holding your bones to other bones.
So this is a super common point of confusion, right? Tendons versus ligaments. Here's a really easy way to remember it. Just think, tendons connect muscle to bone, and ligaments connect bone to bone. One is a pulley system for movement. The other is a connector that keeps a joint stable. Simple as that.
Okay, so that's the system when it's working perfectly. But what happens when things go wrong, when this intricate system gets damaged? Well, that's when we meet a very familiar enemy, pain and inflammation. The moment you get hurt, your body releases these chemical messengers called prostaglandins. You can think of them as your body's chemical alarm bells. They're directly responsible for all those classic telltale signs of an injury: the swelling, the pain, the redness, the heat. It's your body yelling, hey, something is wrong over here. So you can see it's a pretty straightforward chain reaction. 1, 2, 3. First you get hurt. Then boom, those prostaglandins flood the scene. And finally, you feel the consequences. It's this exact process that our medications are designed to jump in and interrupt. And this is our defense force, the stuff we use to fight back. For the most part, you've got two main types of over-the-counter drugs. You have analgesics like acetaminophen. These are purely for pain relief. They just turn down that pain signal. And then you have NSAIDs, that's nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen. They're kind of like a double whammy. They fight the pain and they tackle the inflammation by going after those prostaglandins we just talked about. So painkillers are fantastic for those one-off injuries. But what if the problem is deeper? What if the framework itself, the bones, start to weaken? That brings us to our next topic, osteoporosis. And this quote really nails it. Quote, "The bones become brittle and fragile." It's not just that they're getting less dense. The actual internal structure, that microarchitecture, it starts to fail, making them weak from the inside out. So what do we do about it? The main goal is pretty simple: slow down that bone loss. The big players here are a class of drugs called bisphosphonates. Basically, they tell the cells that are breaking down your old bone to just chill out for a bit. This gives your bone-building cells a chance to catch up. And of course, this is usually paired with the absolute essentials for bone health: calcium and vitamin D. All right, our next problem isn't about wear and tear or bones getting weaker. Nope, this one is caused by a buildup of something sharp. We're talking about gout, a really painful form of arthritis caused by this tiny crystal menace. Gout is what happens when your body can't process uric acid correctly. Instead of getting flushed out like it's supposed to, it builds up in your blood and forms these sharp, literally needle-like crystals right in your joints. And yeah, you can imagine how excruciatingly painful that is. So the strategy here makes a lot of sense, right? You gotta call in the cleanup crew. Medications for gout, like allopurinol, don't just mask the pain. They go straight to the root of the problem. They work to lower the levels of uric acid in your blood, which stops those painful crystals from even forming. Okay, so we've got this whole arsenal of medications, right? From simple painkillers to really complex prescription drugs. But with all that power comes a huge responsibility. You have to use these tools wisely. Just look at this number, 4,000 milligrams. That is the absolute maximum recommended daily dose of acetaminophen for a healthy adult. And the warning here is no joke. Go over that, even in a single day, and you're risking severe liver damage. These aren't vitamins. You can't just take them whenever. You've got to use them only when needed. Okay, let's talk about a really critical piece of safety info. Most of us have probably heard this one: you should never, ever give aspirin to a young child. But do you actually know why? It's a really important reason. It's because of a link to something called Ray's syndrome. Now, it's rare, but it is a life-threatening condition that can pop up when kids are recovering from a virus. This is precisely why we now reach for things like acetaminophen or ibuprofen instead, and always dose them carefully based on the child's weight.
And finally, a quick but really important word on the big guns, opioids. They're incredibly powerful for severe pain, but they come with this side effect listed as euphoria. That intense feeling is the very reason they have such a high potential for misuse and why they are so strictly controlled as narcotics. You know, your body is an incredibly complex, amazing machine. And when it needs a tune-up, it really helps to be an informed owner. Understanding what these medications do, how they work, and their risks, it's all about making sure you're using the right tool for the right job and having smarter talks with your doctor. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.